Sorry. Okay, so I think you guys can hear me now. Sorry about that. Can you guys just confirm in the chat if you guys can hear me now? All right, fantastic. Fantastic. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, I'll start from the beginning. Here, okay. Okay, so hi everyone, my name is Andy and I'm the director of YHack and Techy. It is my honor and privilege on behalf of the Techy organizing team to welcome everyone to the Techy opening ceremony. Yeah, so we highly encourage you guys to talk with one another in the chat throughout the course of this opening ceremony, because it's a really good time to ask questions, see where all the links are, and also just make friends. So welcome to Techy. Here's what the agenda for the opening ceremony is going to look like. First, we're going to talk about what is Techy. We're going to go into a keynote speech by Kevin Tan, the CEO and founder of SnackPass. Go over some helpful resources to help you best plan your day, as well as just different links that might help you if you're ever confused. We're going to go into prizes and how to win them. And also, we're going to go into a schedule breakdown in terms of the closing and opening ceremony, the social opportunity. We're going to cover the 3 panels that we have planned, as well as the 8 workshops that we have planned. And we're also going to go into mentorship. So what is Techy? Techy is an event designed by the Techy organizing team with high school students like you in mind. We created the Tech Education Conference hosted by YHack. So we brought in the best speakers, best workshop hosts, and mentors so that throughout the day, you can gain valuable experience in different fields and be exposed to a whole new world of tech that you normally wouldn't otherwise get in high school. So from machine learning to app development to design thinking, there are so many workshops that we have planned that are going to give you the chance to gain new portable skills so that you can best get a head start in high school and also start thinking about how you can continue to further your interest after this event. We also have speakers that are going to discuss their experiences in tech and give you an opportunity to gain a firsthand look into their struggles and triumphs in the tech industry. So we brought in CEOs, startup founders, renowned professors, and more. So be sure to attend those talks. Yeah, so this is just planned by the YHack organizing team at Yale. We plan one of the largest hackathons on the East Coast every year. So be sure that once you guys are in college, that you guys attend this hackathon. So now we have a keynote speech from Kevin Tan, the CEO and founder of SnackPass. He is a recent graduate from Yale, a tech enthusiast, and his company SnackPass has raised around $26 million in funding and is in dozens of campuses around the US with plans to grow in the future. Wait, can you hear the video? I think that you might not be able to hear the video. Let me fix that then. Okay, this should work. I think you should be able to hear the video now.
Talking about two parts here. So the first is how I got into coding, software, startups, and then the second. Hey, how's it going, everyone? I'm Kevin. I'm one of the co-founders and CEO at SnackPass, and I've been asked to be one of your keynote speakers. So I'm really excited to talk to you all. Today, I'll be basically talking about two parts here. So the first is how I got into coding, software, startups, and then the second part, I'll talk about why you're in the right place and just the kind of power behind. So the first is how I got into coding, software, the code and software and its impact on society. So I'll just dive right in. First thing is that you're all way ahead of me. I had no idea what I knew what code was, but I didn't know the first thing about it. All throughout high school, a very foreign concept to me. My school was very liberal arts focused. So I wasn't exposed to pretty much any aspect of software other than just being a user of Facebook when it came out. I was in 6th grade or something, and then Snapchat, and then just the Cambrian explosion of software entering the fabric of society, or really dominating it throughout the 2010s. So I got to witness all that as I was going through middle school and high school and then in college. But I wasn't really aware of how to create it or how to manipulate this kind of technology behind these really impactful companies. And then I got to college, and I saw my roommates were all CS majors. I don't know why that was the case, but and I got exposed to basically I remember my friend Mike just opened his computer, is working on some cryptic language, and I was like, what in the world is this? And it seemed like it was so confusing and mysterious, and I just asked what is this? He's like, oh, this is a string, and this is and it didn't make any sense to me, but I was so intrigued, and I wanted to get involved. And actually at that time, those roommates of mine started YHack, this and CS wasn't really a big thing at Yale at the time, but they started YHack, and I got really involved, and that's how I first wrote some of my first programs and took some online classes and some classes at Yale too. So it's really kind of a networked thing. People learn from each other, and people use other people's libraries, and software kind of develops in this very distributed way. And I learn from the people around me. So then after that point, I was hooked, and I didn't do anything at Yale besides making music and coding. I was a physics major. I didn't really go to class, and I tried so many things. I saw YC, and I saw the Mark Zuckerberg story. And so I tried to start a lot of startups that went nowhere, including a whole bunch, a marketplace for fashion, indie fashion, a way to create your resume, a sort of search engine for fashion brands. And then actually one of the most successful things, or I wouldn't really call it a successful thing, but one of the things that worked was I started a software consulting group with my friends, and we just scraped all the data from the job postings of companies posting jobs to Yale students, and then it was a huge database, and we just cold emailed all of them. We scraped all the emails, and we only got through the B's, and we basically said do you want to hire some Yale CS students to code for you? And so that was my first taste of, okay, if you're going to start a business, you need to not only be scrappy, but you need to have a customer. You can't just work on something that sounds nice in your head, but isn't solving a real problem for someone. So yeah, there was many years before SnackPass where it was kind of tons of applications that were rejected from not just YC, but Yale's. Actually, funny enough, that was my story. Yale's entrepreneurial society, the student thing, rejected SnackPass multiple times, and even though we had users. So it just goes to show you can face a lot of rejection. The idea might not be bad. It might just for whatever reason, the gatekeepers of business are not people in panels or investors or educators. The gatekeepers are your customers, and whether you're making something that benefits them or not. But anyways, so yeah, and then finally senior year, after trying all these different things, I was sitting in my dorm room right here, Hopper College, and I started SnackPass. And so my friends and I were always ordered food around campus. And I was actually, the idea came up to me when I was sitting in my econ class, and we were learning about a concept called dead weight loss and price discrimination. But basically, the idea that it's very inefficient to charge the same price for everyone. And I thought, well, why do we even do that? If you can charge different prices to people with different willingness to pay, you're gonna recoup a lot of dead weight loss, have a lot more efficient market. And I thought, like, why can't we do that? And really, I looked around, and the main reason was technology. Like, if you look at a restaurant, their POS, the thing that swipes credit cards, is like an analog, kind of like a dumb analog machine. And it doesn't know anything about that customer. So that's what got me started into SnackPass. So I walked around. I already made a website for Brick Oven Pizza, one of the local pizza restaurants. I knew Kadir, the owner. So I had some relationships with these local pizza shop owners. And I went around, I said, hey, you want to list your business on SnackPass, this new thing I'm making, offer a student discount that people can access with their Yale.edu email, and just get, new customers that way. So that's how it started. And I took some flyers, printed them, put them on every door on campus, drinking fountain, bathroom, you name it. And that's how we got our start. And that's how we got our first 100 customers, and it grew from there. So yeah, the process of getting into coding was not really that storied, that much of a sort of like fairy tale sort of thing, because we got rejected from pretty much everywhere. And I ended up just kind of like doing it on my own. But that's the cool thing about software. You can just do it yourself. You don't need permission. So a little bit more on how SnackPass started, because you might all be interested. So yeah, we found two insights in the beginning. The first one was that people came for the discounts, but they stayed for the convenience of being able to pick up and skip the line. Your food's ready when you get there. You can order on your phone. You don't have to stand in line like you usually do at a really busy place, like Good Nature Market. You have or Donut Crazy, or some place like this. Sorry about that. And so yeah, so we realized actually this is a better way to order, just for convenience. And then the second insight we had in those early days was basically it was a very single player, almost solitary transaction. You just opened the app, bought something for yourself, went and picked it up. And we thought, wouldn't it be cool if this could be more organically social, and that it would involve other friends, and you can do something more fun with it and just spread more naturally, because it wasn't growing fast enough, let's be honest, at the time. So we had reward points, and it kind of struck me one day where I was kind of inspired by wanting to send a smoothie, like a gift to someone I was trying to impress. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool if I could do it through my app and make it a big gesture? And I thought, well, I think it'd be awesome to send these little like food items, and we have reward points. So it kind of clicked, like, what if you can not only get a reward point for yourself, but send one to a friend on every purchase? And so that's how kind of gifting came up, and that whole paradigm of like social buying and social e-commerce. So yeah, so that's how SnackPass started. And that fall, when those pieces came together, it blew up really fast, and we got over 80% of Yale to use SnackPass at the time. And then we went to Brown and launched it there, and had similar results. And we throughout the process, very painful, because we had to realize, oh, we need like an internal dashboard. We need to build a merchant-facing tablet and payments and all this stuff, ways to enter new menus. So it's still so much learning, like so much inventing every step of the way, especially because it's part offline. But yeah, so scrappy from start to finish, and it's not finished yet. Okay, cool. So part two, I think I'm running out of time a little bit, but I just want to talk about why you're definitely in the right place in terms of your interests, and also being in high school, you're ahead of the curve. But yeah, I would say there's really two aspects of software or of just tech these days that give it an insane amount of power and leverage. So the first is the software component, and the second is the internet component. So software in and of itself is basically a way to write instructions, and those instructions are executed with zero marginal cost. So you can, there's some server costs, but if you had to do those same things without software, it would be like 100,000, a million, maybe more times more inefficient, more costly. So I'll give you an example with SnackPass. So one of our new products is Kiosk. It's a tablet in the store that you can order on. So basically it kind of replaces the cashier POS system. And so for the restaurant, it does a simple calculation. So they say we can pay an enormous amount for hiring, for labor, $15 an hour, and for like churning and training. And there's like a labor shortage right now. We can't even hire enough people to make the boba let alone have a cashier. Or they can pay basically 40 cents an hour to use one of our kiosks, and they don't need to have someone manually punching the order. The customer can just, enter the order themselves using software that faces them, and it transmits the order perfectly. And so that is several orders of magnitude more efficient thanks to software. So even today, when it's been it's just the beginning, right? It's, I don't know how old exactly software is, and in its modern form, but it is still early innings. We're finding so many opportunities to make the restaurant more efficient and just operate in a much saner way. So that's the first part, is software. It automates things a million times faster and cheaper. And then the second very powerful piece of leverage here is the internet. And what the internet allows is for like an aggregation of demand or users at an incredible scale that you couldn't achieve without the internet. So to give you we're all aware of like the Robinhood, meme stocks, but even an example that was very relevant for us is we would do these launch parties when we were launching a new campus. And one of the things that was very effective was these, we call these like time bomb discounts. So it's like a deal drop, kind of like a sneaker drop, but for maybe, like a Junzi bowl or a burrito. And a Junzi is a restaurant at Yale. I realize not all of you go to Yale here, so or our high school students. So we would do these deal drops, and it was funny. So the story is, one of our restaurants said, we have a local food photographer, food writer coming in later today, and we need to make the store look really busy. Can you help us? And we basically said, say no more. And we launched a push out just to like a third of our user base at Berkeley. And within 30 minutes, the entire street was like mobbed with people. And only Taco Sinaloa had this many people. Every other restaurant was like very quiet. And the food writer was like, came to this restaurant. I was watching him, and he had this like really confused look on his face, like, what is going on here? But that just goes to show it's like the power of the internet. We were able to send a message to all of Taco Sinaloa fans in Berkeley at once and aggregate all that demand in one place and create this experience that was so, first of all, very useful for the restaurant. They were able to impress the food writer very thoroughly. But it's like that kind of ability to reach so many people and to keep reaching them that the internet enables. So, software, internet, very, very intertwined ideas. Obviously, people write about it a lot, but I just wanted to kind of, bring up in simple terms why they're distinct and also have their each unique points of leverage. So, if you're all in a position to master software, sharpen your coding skills. I don't think I could have started SnackPass without being able to code. and then also sharpen your internet skills and understand how servers work and how APIs work. And then obviously there's new technologies like blockchain and machine learning that are going to be probably have just as big, if not bigger, impact as software and internet has had in the past 30 years, 30, 40 years. So yeah, thanks so much for listening in. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to email me. It's kevin@snackpass.co. I'm very excited for all your journeys in software. There's no way it will be a waste of time for you to learn if it's something that interests you. You're in the right place, and there's a huge shortage of engineers right now. So companies like myself, like SnackPass, and every startup, one of their top priorities, hardest things to do is hiring engineers. So yeah, thank you for helping startups solve that problem, and best of luck to all of you. Thanks.
Okay, so we just wrapped up that amazing keynote speech by Kevin Tan. I guess drop a comment in the chat to see to just share what you guys thought about that speech. I thought it was really insightful, especially considering like his humble beginnings, like from where he didn't even know a single line of code, where he founded SnackPass, and then he has this $1 million company, which is just creating such a huge influence in campuses across the US. So just drop a comment in the live chat, share what you guys think. Okay, so now we're going to be going into some helpful resources for you throughout the event. So first off, the Notion has the rules and guidelines, a Google Calendar for you to add it to your Google Calendar so that you can get live updates on when events are happening throughout the whole day. So here is what the Notion looks like. It has all the rules and guidelines. It has the useful resources here at the top in terms of the YouTube, the Google Calendar link, the Techy website over here. The Techy website has information on all of the events if you click on more info. So I'm going to be talking more about the events later on. But if you're ever confused or have questions, you can go to the website and click more info for all of these events, and you're going to get a lot of info about the speakers and the content of the actual event. Okay, so wait 1 second. Just check. You click on more. Okay, so also this is just going to go over the types of events. We have workshops, we have social opportunity, we have panels, mentoring, also some tips for techie. And I highly recommend this. Go to the Notion and get the Zoom background and download it so that for all the events, you can have this amazing Zoom background so that you can just put in the back. Yeah, so yeah, on the Slack, we have a greetbot that sends you a message the moment you join the Slack. So refer to that greetbot message if you ever have any questions, because it should have all the resources and tips on getting started in all of the channels. But if you haven't already, in the introductions channel, just drop a brief introduction talking about some of your interests, where are you from, and things like that. And then also just don't be afraid to also just interact if you see that you have any common interest with someone else. In announcements, we're going to be dropping some announcements about channels, including Zoom links and passwords. But all of those are already up on the Google Calendar on the Notion. And I also sent an email last night that has another calendar in that email if you ever need to refer to that. And ask organizers, ask us questions if you ever have any throughout the course of the event. We're here for you at pretty much 24/7, so just feel free to ask us questions there. In career advice, if you have questions about what type of jobs you might want to pursue in the future, maybe some coding languages that you want to think about learning, that would be the most useful for your potential career, feel free to ask us that in that channel. In general, you can kind of ask us anything that doesn't really fall in anything else. And memes, drop some funny memes in there. We already have some memes in there, so feel free to drop any memes that you think are funny. Mentorship, that's going to be for the mentorship hour that we're going to have later on. So that's just going to be a good way to just talk with your mentors afterwards. And then for social, just feel free to talk about anything else, like your favorite shows, your favorite books, and things like that. Also, just like for some general rules for Techy, make sure you keep it clean. Make sure you just make sure it's like really respectful towards everyone. And you also just don't, you just keep it very PG-13. Also just keep it very polite when talking with Slack, and also when talking to hosts and asking questions. All right, so here are the prizes and how you win them. We're going to be distributing 4 $50 Amazon gift cards at the end of the event. And how can you win them? So you have to attend at least 5 events, 2 must-be speaker-related events, panel discussions. So we have 3 panel discussions. So choose out of the 3, at least 2 that you want to attend. And then you also have to attend 3 workshop events. These are just workshops about like machine learning, design, etc. However, we do highly encourage you to attend more events than required for this, because we do have like a lot of useful opportunities that won't be included in this. So this includes the social event and the mentoring hour, which are going to be really helpful in terms of just meeting new people and also getting some really useful one-on-one advice about like your potential resume, preparing for jobs, and things like that. Okay, and then something else that we also encourage is that throughout all these events is that you stay engaged and ask questions, especially at the end of events, because for a lot of the panels, we're gonna give you the opportunity to just ask questions to these people to see like how their experience can be used to benefit you. So we highly encourage that. And we will be monitoring attendance at each of the events. So just as I go through all the events, just see which ones and start planning out your day to see which ones that you can attend and which ones that you really want to attend as well. All right, so here's what the Techy schedule looks like for the day. So obviously the opening ceremony is happening now. We have an event for each hour all the way up until 9 p.m. Some events will overlap. All of the times are in Eastern time, and highlighted workshops will coincide. So from 10 to 11, we're going to have our social events on Glimpse. From 11 to 12, we'll have our panel discussion about women in tech. And then from 12 to 1, we will have 2 workshops. One will be about intro to programming, and the other one will be the basics of Python. From 1 to 2, we will have our discussion about Trailblazers in tech, and these are going to be recent college graduates talking about their experience. From 2 to 3, we'll have 2 workshops. One will be about fundamentals of design. One will be about quantum computing. From 3 to 4, we'll have our last panel discussion of the day, CS at Yale. And these will just be CS students talking about their experience studying computer science at Yale. From 4 to 5, we'll have a workshop about app development. From 5 to 6, we'll have 2 workshops, one about expanding your network, and the other one will be about an intro to serverless applications. From 6 to 7, we'll have our last workshop of the day about machine learning. From 7 to 8, we'll have our mentorship session where you can get one-on-one advice. And from 8 to 9, we'll have our closing ceremony. So here, let's jump right into the actual structure of each of these events. For the Glimpse social event, the Glimpse link is already on the Google Calendar. So once you click that link, you'll be entered into like this kind of speed dating app. Where you'll get to meet other participants and ask questions and get to know them. There's going to be icebreaker questions like on your interest, on what you're interested in studying, as well as what events you're planning on attending. So this is a really good time to make new friends and also maybe plan your day around attending events with different friends that you're going to meet at this event. You can also take pictures, exchange contact info, and all of these things are possible on the Glimpse social event. So it's highly encouraged that you attend this. We'll be going into the panel discussion, the first one about women in tech from 11 to 12. So yeah, just join us for a panel as you learn from women in tech about their struggles and triumphs in the tech industry. The first 30 minutes will be structured questions asked by a host on the Techy organizing team. And then it'll be followed by a host asking or followed by 30 minutes of open Q&A. So among the topics that will be discussed will be product design, entrepreneurship, and research. So Christine Moon is the co-founder and president of BlueSpace.ai and has over 15 years of experience in Silicon Valley. Sophia Du is a student at Stanford studying computer science and product design. She's worked at startups, products, and new sites. Holly Rushmeyer is the John C. Malone Professor of Computer Science at Yale, and her research interests lie in computer graphics and computational tools. From 12 to 1, we will have a workshop for Intro to Programming. It will be led by Codehaven, and they'll be conducting a workshop on Scratch, a block-based visual programming language developed by MIT Media Lab. So this will be a really good intro to the fundamentals of computer science. It will be led by Lucas Shepard, a sophomore at Yale studying electrical engineering and computer science. He's currently a software engineer for DreamKit, does research in the Yale Social Robotics Labs, and will be a software engineer intern at Facebook this summer. Some things that you'll need to do before is that you'll have to create an account on Scratch. Have a working webcam for the motion tracking project, and also have a brightly colored object. At the same time, there will be a basics of Python workshop. You'll get an intro to Python, such as variables, strings, functions, loops, and libraries. Some things that you'll need to do before is have an IDE, which is an integrated development environment, downloaded. So a really good one is VS Code. So you can just download VS Code here at this link. Rosie Rothschild is a sophomore studying electrical engineering and computer science at Yale. She's intern at startups and is currently a software engineer intern at a security company called PagerDuty. From 1 to 2, we will have our Trailblazers and Tech discussion. You'll get to learn from recent college graduates about all things ranging from startups, big tech, to machine learning. Over here, we have Cameron Yick. He's a software engineer at Datadog and a co-organizer of the data visualization at New York meetup. We have Swarnima Sarkar, a data scientist for the London Stock Exchange Group's strategic innovation arm. Her work scales CS research and knowledge graphs, machine and NLP to capital markets effectively and ethically. Tommy Kilmer is an admissions manager and software engineer at Y Combinator, a startup accelerator. Over here, we have our workshop on fundamentals of design. It will be led by the User Experience Society. So if you've ever wondered how to create interactive prototypes or lively visuals, join the designers and artists of User Experience Society Yale as they walk you through Figma, a collaborative design tool. You're going to go over the ins and outs of Figma and build your design foundations together so that you'll be ready to create posters, graphics, and apps from scratch. She is a computing and the arts student at Yale from Manila, Philippines. And Lauren studies CS and economics and political science at Yale and is interested in art, architecture, and design. At the same time, you'll be getting a workshop from quantum computing. So the Yale undergraduate quantum computing group will introduce high-level quantum computing, what it is, how it works at a high level, and what it can do. They'll also talk about quantum chess and help you explore resources that you can use to further explore the field. Soon Omanjie is a computer science major from Dallas, Texas, a 2-time Google intern, and he started in quantum during the summer of 2020 while attending a Google AI quantum event. Shomik Chowdhury is a senior at Yale majoring in math and physics. He is a research assistant at the Deverite Lab working on experimental quantum information processing and is an ex-quantum engineering intern at Rigetti Computing. We'll have our last panel discussion, CS at Yale, from 3 to 4 p.m., where you'll get an inside look at CS at Yale from students, learn about classes, career options, and more. The panel will consist of various Yale undergraduates involved with various aspects of tech like AI, quantum computing, web and app development, and more. The first 30 minutes will be structured questions by a host, followed by 30 minutes of open Q&A. Kelly Rudder is a junior at Yale studying computer science and has had numerous internships such as Dell, MongoDB. And she also on campus spends a lot of time working with organizations dedicated to STEM. Brihu Sundaraman is a gap year junior. And on campus, he's the president of the Yale Entrepreneurial Society and is currently working on Prophone, Y Combinator 21, helping to scale their platform. Brihu is interested in venture capital. Anna is a sophomore in Davenport College studying computing and the arts and is fascinated by the potential to use tech for good. Previously, she has been recognized on the Forbes 30 Under 30 list, awarded the grand prize in Google Play's Change the Game Design Challenge, and has spoken at the Fast Company Innovation Festival. From 4 to 5, we'll have a workshop on app development. So you'll learn how to create an app using Flutter. It'll be led by Ross Johnson. And you'll learn how to create a basic chat app. Ross Johnson is a sophomore at Yale studying computer science. He was a Google STEP intern and is currently leading the tech team of the Yale Entrepreneurial Society. There's no prerequisite knowledge expected for this workshop, but some things that you'll need to do before is download Flutter using this link, download Git using this link if you don't already have it, and download VS Code to edit the code at this link. We'll have a workshop on expanding your network from 5 to 6. This workshop will kind of start with the basics of LinkedIn and focus on the value of the platform. Elizabeth Olshanetsky will share her experiences, including how she got started and how it helped to get to her current role, and talk about how LinkedIn can be a useful resource no matter what you're interested in or how old you are. So some things that you'll need to do before is just make a LinkedIn account. Elizabeth Olshanetsky is an associate at Republic Labs, the institutional venture capital arm of the Startup Republic, and is responsible for sourcing investment opportunities, building the Republic Labs community and presence, creating content, and supporting founders in the portfolio. So this is a highly recommended workshop if you're only starting to expand your network and want to make a LinkedIn. From 5 to 6, we have Intro to Serverless Application led by Matthew Nam. Over the course of an hour, you'll go over what it means to be serverless, why this new architecture is growing in popularity, and how developers use React and cloud computing tools, specifically Amazon Web Services, to build serverless applications that are scalable, maintainable, and dynamic. This workshop will introduce fundamental concepts in React, cloud computing, and web development while putting them in the context of an application currently in use by over 140 startups and thousands of students. So some requirements will just be knowing HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Some things to do before the workshop are to install node.js, download the code, and also download a code editor if you don't already have it. So Matthew Nam is a sophomore studying computer science and economics here at Yale. As a co-founder and director of the Yale Entrepreneurial Society program or internship program, he enjoys helping startups and students grow. From 6 to 7, we'll have our machine learning workshop. So it's going to be led by Yale Machine Learning, which will provide a hands-on tutorial on machine learning for perfect beginners. There's no machine learning background or programming experience required, but in an hour, you'll find out the actual science and math behind machine learning, and we'll be able to train and test a model that reads handwritten digits on your laptop. So the workshop lead will be Chae-Young Lee, a sophomore at Yale University pursuing a bachelor's in computer science. Last summer, she interned at Apple working as a machine learning engineer in the Siri TTS R&D team, developing prosody and speaker models for Siri. Before Apple, she also interned at Naver, a search engine company in South Korea. And she's also the author of 2 machine learning papers. So for requirements, while basic knowledge of Python is useful for this workshop, it's not a requirement. Some to-dos before the workshop are to go to this link and make a copy of the Jupyter notebook over here. And then for the mentorship session, it will be held on AirMeet. The link is shared on the Google Calendar right now, but keep in mind that we're always going to drop the Zoom link in the announcements channel. So right before the event, so always just check that channel if you never know where an event link is. So meet one-on-one with mentors to receive advice about college majors and internships. We have many different mentors. We have around a dozen mentors, ranging from machine learning to entrepreneurship. So just feel free to join that and hop around the table so that you can ask different questions and really get to know all of our mentors and see all of the cool, exciting things that they're working on and how you can potentially work on that in the future. And lastly, from 8 to 9, we'll have our closing ceremony, which will just be a quick recap of the day. We'll announce prizes and also just give you some more helpful resources so that you can continue to learn after this event is over. Before we wrap up the closing ceremony, just a huge thank you to all of the speakers, workshop hosts, and mentors who took the time out their day to come to this event. So later on, when you're talking to them, just know that they took time out of their day to come here to really give you really helpful advice, help you learn new skills. So just keep that in mind when you're at the workshop, and just let them know how much this means to you. A huge thank you to the Techy organizing team for making this event possible, from the logistics of this, from the website, from just the promotion so that you guys even knew about this event. It was only made possible by the Techy organizing team. So a huge shout out to them and huge thank you to them. And lastly, just thank you guys for attending this event and showing up to all the different events, because it really wouldn't be possible without you guys. So huge thank you to everyone on this panel. So enjoy Techy. Today is really a day just for you. So ask questions. If you're ever confused, this is a place for learning. So really no questions are dumb. So if you're ever confused in a workshop, feel free to ask the workshop host. It's not really going to be an inconvenience for them. It's just so that you aren't confused and that you're getting the most out of this day. Meet new people. We're going to have a lot of opportunities to meet new people, interact in the chats on Slack, join the social opportunity happening right after this at 10. Have fun. There are really going to be a lot of chances to have fun. Don't think of this as like a day where it's like, oh, you have to go to all these workshops, but think of it more so as a day for you to gain really cool new skills that you can then show off to people after this event. Stay in touch on the Slack, and the slides are going to be linked in the Slack. So yeah, enjoy Techy. It's going to be a really fun day, and it's going to be really exciting to get to know all of you guys. So see you guys.